I've met high-flying partners in law and accounting firms who earn in excess of £750,000 per annum, who told me they couldn't afford to quit their job. They had allowed their lifestyle to ramp up, and it had become their prison camp. Welcome back to another Legends of the FIRE movement video, where I take a deep dive into how they did it. Today we are looking at the story of Barney Whiter, who runs one of the most popular UK financial independence blogs called The Escape Artist. On a number of podcasts, I've heard Barney talk about the fact that he developed a fear of poverty from a very early age. When he was young, his parents were heavily leveraged on their primary residence, and when interest rates rise dramatically, he experienced the reality of how high levels of debt can take away all of your options in life and leave you trapped and slaving away in the system. In the words of Barney, "When I was 11 in 1981, my parents bought the biggest house they could afford, and then interest rates rose to 17%. Imagine the devastation that would cause now. My parents cut back sharply. Our holiday that year got cancelled. The newspaper was cancelled. Dad started brewing his own beer rather than buying it. There weren't many positives, but on some level, I gained an appreciation of how it's possible to tighten your belt when you really put your mind to it." Career and education. Barney's fear of poverty strongly impacted his future decisions, with the underlying driver being how to not end up poor and homeless. After doing a degree in economics, Barney moved to London and qualified as a chartered accountant before moving into the world of corporate finance, where he had a career spanning around 20 years. Turning point. Barney developed good financial habits from day one, working hard, earning a strong salary, and paying off the mortgage in his early 30s. However, it was around this time that he found himself trapped in a job that he hated. And even with a paid-off house, his wife wasn't working as they had just had their second child, and he felt like he needed out, but was stuck in what he calls the prison camp. Discovering monk mode and the journey to financial independence. It was at this point where Barney made big changes. He built up a safety fund in case he found himself unemployed and entered what he describes as monk mode, slashing outgoings from 3k per month to 1k per month. In the words of Barney, "Eventually I found another job that felt less soul-destroying, but rather than getting comfortable and allowing our spending to inflate back up, I decided to continue to save hard. After a number of discussions and some arguments with my wife, I vowed to save and invest at least 50% of my income to give me the freedom and the choice that I craved. After grinding it out and saving and investing for another 10 years, like so many of us in the FIRE movement, he stumbled across the Mr. Money Moustache blog and discovered that there was a whole movement based around the lifestyle that he had been pursuing. Barney says, "I learned about the 25 times rule, whereby you probably have enough to never need to work again if you can amass a portfolio worth greater than 25 times your annual spending. I realised that I probably had enough, so handed in my notice at work." So at age 43, Barney had reached financial independence and stepped away from the corporate world. What's Barney up to these days? Even though he could be sipping margaritas on a beach in Thailand, Barney chooses to continue to pursue meaningful work in the form of writing on his blog and coaching clients on all matters of financial independence. He often says that he is not anti-work, but is all for having more options, and that's the power that pursuing financial independence provides. "I enjoyed having time off to decompress after my escape, but eventually we all need to find something to do that provides meaning, purpose and challenge. I get this through writing, teaching and providing financial coaching for other people. Financial freedom allows you to step away from the metaphorical prison camp that many of us have created for ourselves and decide what your future could look like."